Hello and welcome back to another character preview video. My name is Lumiri and today we're having a look at Vaultbreakers. Vaultbreakers is a hardcore top-down PvPvE ARPG that blends epic brawler combat with tense tactical extraction gameplay. Fight alongside friends or as a lone wolf to survive intense, dangerous missions in a dynamic fantasy world. Defeat deadly foes, outsmart rival players, and claim your spoils. Yeah, and along with all of that, there are some pretty awesome looking characters that you get to play as, and today we are here to check them out. I'm going to say right at the start, before I carry on any further, we are in the early days of development here. This is a play test. It's not final. So, needless to say, everything's not implemented yet, and there's still a lot of work to be done. But I appreciate it when devs get the game in the hands of the players when it's in a playable state so that they can get feedback and, you know, use that to go forward in the right way. Alright? So I've said that. On top of that, as it stands, there's no cosmetic customization just yet, but the little bit that I've seen of the game and the bit that I've seen of the characters available leads me to believe that there is great future potential. Because the artists, the guys that worked on the models here, they know their stuff, and they've made some pretty awesome looking characters. Characters I want to know more about. Characters I want to spend more time with. So, hey, I'm pretty excited to see where this goes. Now, if you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Vaultbreakers, you can find some links below, and as always there will be timestamps. In this video we're going to look at the characters. I will give you a quick look at the abilities that they have, give you a quick rundown of what it might be like to play them, and there'll also be some lore involved in that, because we've got a sort of little history of each of the characters. After all of the characters, I will just show you around the menu a little bit, show you what you can access here, what you can work towards, and so on and so forth. And then at the end, we will talk about our thoughts. Right, let us begin. First up, we have Bjornir, the jovial juggernaut. He is difficulty 2 out of 3 stars. I think 3 is the max. I'm not sure. None of the other ones here go over 3, so it's probably 3. Origin, stout heart. And this is something that I'm not going to go through on each and every single one of them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's really cool that they have the lore in here for people that are interested in the lore. I am, obviously, I love it, but it would take quite a while to read through each character's lore and their details. So for now, I will leave this on the screen here if you want to check it out, and I will just say that I really appreciate it when people go to the effort that they go to here to put the extra lore in for those that care about it, those that want to be fully immersed. It's really cool. It's very interesting, and I have personally read through the lore of the characters, and I kind of like it. It just adds that much more flavor to it, and it makes the choice that you make feel so much more important and impactful. Strengths, durable and crowd control. Weaknesses, dealing damage. So he's a bit of a tank, and he has a lot of good utility. Character details. If Bjornir Hearthguard's saga is to be believed, he was raised by a feral stone bear matriarch, his indomitable spirit forged in the untamed wilderness. This is also where he befriended a flock of frost feathers who have made their home on his shield ever since. That's these cute little frost owls that look like angry birds. Wielding a mystical rune hammer, Bjornir channels raw strength and elemental ice magic to defend his allies and crush his foes. Jovial and fiercely loyal, he seeks kinship and purpose wherever his path leads. His legend as a stout-heart protector grows with every battle fought and every bond forged. So this is what he looks like in the game right here. He's a pretty large fellow, and we're going to go through his abilities quickly. I'm going to start with his passive over here. I'm going to cover them in short. I'm not going to go into too much detail because the numbers obviously don't mean all that much. If you keep leveling, they'll keep going up. You know, it's sort of like a, hey, the ability itself is what matters kind of situation. But his passive is Stout Heart's Tenacity. It charges his basic attacks. And if you fully charge the attack, it applies a chill stack to targets. Chill stacks last 6 seconds. They can stack up to 4 times. And stunned enemies take additional physical damage. His passive, he has a Frost Feather Boon, which is a buff that stays on for 2 seconds after he takes damage. And it restores after 12 seconds of not taking damage. But what it does is it gives extra armor and magic resistance. So the way his basic attack works is you can click to hold it like this. And then when it's fully charged, it applies that chill stack over there. You can apply a bunch of chill stacks on something, and then you will see certain abilities light up when you've actually done that. We'll get to that in a moment. But that's the left click attack. Right click is wild swing, and this has two different modes or functions. You can either tap it, which slows enemies and applies a chill stack, which is really cool, or you can hold it and then it charges you ahead and it actually taunts as well, as you can see over there, for 6 seconds. There's a bit extra you can just read as I hover over it if you want to know more, or hey, you can jump in and check it out for yourself. The next ability is the Q. It's called Power Chop. To use that, you need 4 chill stacks on a target, and then it deals a large amount of damage and stuns them. It's very cool because it doesn't really have a cooldown. You can just keep doing it over and over. So if you can start wailing away at something, it's pretty massive, right? The charge on your right click looks like this. Very cool. Super awesome looking attack. And then spacebar is ice block. You encase yourself in ice to become immune and locked for 2.5 seconds. It also slows enemies in the area by 25%, and when you burst out of it, it explodes and does magical damage. And up to additional 200 magic damage to nearby enemies depending on the time spent inside. It's pretty cool. It's really cool, actually. It looks like this. And you can break it early if you like. And then his ulti is called Frost Feather Flyby. That looks like this. It hits everyone in its path, and as they reach 4 stacks of chill, then they get stunned. And it's actually, oh, it's at 5 chill stacks, sorry. It's actually really powerful because you can actually like multi-stun people, and yeah, it's kind of sick. It also goes through allies, and it gives them a stack of Frost Feather boon. So very nice, very fun, and his entire loadout just feels kind of cool when you jump in and play with it. So that's it. A quick look at how everything works on old Bjornir here. Now, next up, let's jump on to Sparkwing, the Curious Adventurer. Difficulty 1 out of 3, origin Vaultbreakers. So cute, man. I love it. Look at this art. Isn't it amazing? Strengths, area damage and mobility. Weaknesses, crowd control. So they do AoE, they move fast, but they can't really lock people down. So you'd want to combine these two to make a good team, I'd say. Character details. Sparkwing is a young, mischievous Valdrake that loves adventuring and all the trouble it gets him into. He roams the southern forests with a spark of curiosity and a love for experimentation, from capturing lightning in bottles to experimenting with ancestral magic. Sparkwing's quest for knowledge and adventure knows no bounds. With each electrifying dash, Sparkwing weaves through the trees, a whirlwind of energy and excitement driven by the relentless pursuit of discovery. It's a fantastic introduction. Let's select this character. And they do look fantastic. I love it. The art in this game is just woof, you know. It's so nice. So, basic attacks. This is actually the character they throw you on when you very first jump into the game. It's sort of, you could call it the tutorial character. Quite a simple play style, but quite satisfying as well. The passive is Volatile Dynamic. Each ability or basic attack that hits a target applies Zap. Zap lasts 6 seconds. If reapplied, it generates 5 energy. That's the basic attack. Right there. Right click is Power Vortex. Creates an area that explodes after 1 second, dealing 200 magic damage. Hitting targets with Zap generates an additional 20 energy. Very cool. Again, quite simple, but quite satisfying. Q is Zap Bang. I love it, dude. The names. Throw a projectile that explodes in a cone. When it hits an enemy, dealing 150 magic damage. Hitting targets with Zap will stun them for 2 seconds. So you're going to want to zap someone and then use this on them. So if you can hit them with the actual line or with the cone at the end, and it all works quite well. Very cool. I'll show you what the combo looks like right now. So if I do that, let's see. Stunned. Nice. Spacebar. That's generally your survivability or mobility button. Dash forward while being immune, dealing 107 physical damage and 60% slow for 2 seconds to all enemies in a line. Each hit on a target with Zap reduces cooldown by 4 seconds, which is just excellent. So if you dash through something with Zap, it makes the cooldown much quicker. Very strong. Straightforward, but very strong. The ulti, I guess you could call it, it's not exactly the ulti, but the final one on R is Electric Form. Spawn 3 circuit orbs and an additional circuit orb for each 25 energy you spend. Plus 25% energy gain for 3 seconds. Circuit orbs orbit Sparkwing for 15 seconds. If it hits an enemy, it explodes, dealing magic damage to the enemy. That's them over there. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. Like, the damage can add up really quickly, and it's nice to sort of pop that and then either run away or run towards, you know, based on how you want to play it. But I feel like this is a straightforward hero that is, I will say, a little weaker. In other words, it's a little more flimsy, perhaps, than some of the others, but at the same time, because of the straightforward playstyle and the ease of jumping into it, it does feel pretty satisfying. Next up, we have Nymera, Guardian of the Ancestors. She's beautiful. It's really cool. Difficulty 1 out of 3. Origin Wild Elf. Man, I love it. I love the lore. I love it. You know, jumping into a brand new unknown world and just having all this lore thrown at you is excellent. Strengths: single target damage. Weaknesses: area damage, low durability, and crowd control. So I imagined she would have been a little bit more difficult, but apparently she's not. Nymera Moonshadow, the young wild elf princess, is the chosen aspect of the goddess Melithia, keeper of the spirits. Guided by the spirits of her ancestors and driven by an unyielding resolve, she knows the future of her people depends on preserving the legacy of the past. A masterful archer, Nymera strikes with precision and grace, her attacks empowered by ancestral spirit magic. She stands as Lori Ethel's stalwart protector, ready to face the encroaching darkness and ensure her people's survival. Yeah, she's excellent. She looks really cool. Very night elf. I dig it. Let's check her passive out first. Avatar of the Moth Spirit. Each ability that hits a target applies a Moth Mark, which stacks up to 5 times and lasts 8 seconds. Applying a new Moth Mark will refresh the stack duration. For each Moth Mark a target has, basic attacks deal an additional 10 plus 5% AP magic damage and generate 5 energy. At 100 energy, spend it and spawn 2 flowers. They last 12 seconds. If a flower is picked up by a friendly unit, it gives stacking 30% attack speed for 7 seconds. A little bit more complex than Zap that we just had on the previous character, but it does sound very useful. And yeah, that's what her basic attacks looks like. There you go. Straightforward, good range, by the way, as you can see over there. The range differs from character to character, obviously. Verdant Shot is the right click. Shoot in the target direction. Hold to increase the range, deal an 84 physical damage, and an additional 0 to 315, and then applying a 0 to 70% slow. That's based on how long you charge it, basically, or how far away, or anything like that, as you can see over there. Very cool. A bit more of a skill shot than some of the others we've seen. It's cool. Q is Hydra Shot. It fires 3 projectiles in a narrow cone, then dash backwards. Each projectile deals 94 magic damage and will add 0.6 seconds of stun if the target has Moth Mark. Looks like that. So you want to put Moth Mark on first, obviously, and well, then you want to go for it. And you can try and keep the Moth Mark on, but yeah, it works well. Let's just shoot this quickly. Here's the 2. Look at that attack speed boost. That's the passive, by the way, the flowers that we picked up. Okay, spacebar is Soaring Strike. Cast a piercing moth in a line, granting vision, dealing magic damage, recast to dash and remove it. So it goes that way, and then you can press spacebar again, jump to it. It's a well-known ability. It's something that we've seen in a lot of games before, but very cool. Nothing wrong with that. Then we have Emerald Barrage. Shoot 10 piercing projectiles for 1 second in target direction, each dealing 55 magical damage. It's quite intense, this one. It's crazy. It's really, really fast. So, yeah, as mentioned, she has a whole lot of direct damage and skill shots, which would make her quite hard to play, but at the same time, I feel quite powerful. Yeah, quite powerful. All right. Next up, Lumiri, the Forest Bloom. Difficulty 1 as well. Origin, Wild Elf. Strengths, shields, area control, and her weaknesses, target control. Born within the heart of an ancient oak, Lumiri Wildleaf is the living spirit of nature's resilience. Radiating youthful energy, she is driven by boundless optimism and an unwavering belief in the harmony of life. Though innocent at heart, Lumiri wields the raw power of the wild, guided by the whispers of the forest and the song of ancient trees. She wanders the wilderness, eager to learn her role in the wider world while protecting the fragile balance of life from those who would disrupt it. Nature's guardian and a beacon of hope, Lumiri proves that even the smallest sprout can grow to shape the future. Sheesh, look at that. Excellent. She's cool. She looks really nice. And a little bit more support here. Stream of Creation is her passive. Basic attacks spawn a shooty flower with a 6-second cooldown. A shooty flower lasts 8 seconds. Basic attack hits and abilities make any nearby shooty flowers attack the target. Basic attacks hit and shooty flower hits generate 5 energy, while at 150 energy or more, the next ability consumes 150 energy to become overpowered with an additional effect. So shooty flowers, that's it right there. I like the idea. I mean, I think it's kind of cute, especially considering her sort of, I'm not going to say her role, but like her niche and her background and her lore and everything involved. But that's the basic attack right there. It seems really cool for, you know, stutter step in and then also having that extra damage coming from different sources and directions, and it'll add up quite quickly. Right click is Piercing Overgrowth. Cast a wave that knocks back enemies and deals physical damage, giving yourself and any allies hit a shield for 2 seconds. Nearby shooty flowers shoot the first enemy hit. Spawn a shooty flower per shooty flower hit. Look at that. You just like stack up and double up on the shooty flowers. It's going to be a very interesting situation to see. This character is probably really good at zone control. Empowered, increase the area width by 50% and damage by 60 physical. So if you have a shooty flower there and you hit the shooty flower, then it'll spawn another shooty flower. You can see it's underneath the dummy over there. And it just keeps going like that, right? It's really cool. Obviously, they have timed it quite specifically to not be too OP, but it still ends up being quite strong, you know? I like it. Next up, we have Root Cage. Create an area that, after a short delay, applies a 1.5 second root on enemies, deals 60 magic damage, and spawn 1 shooty flower per enemy hit, deals an additional 100 magic damage in the center. Any nearby shooty flowers shoot enemies hit. So it just keeps stacking, man. Empowered. Area is increased by 60%. You can see what empowered is. This is empowered right here with the little frame around it. Here's that's the center, as you can see, and there's the circle. Pretty cool. It's really cool how quickly you can spawn the shooty flowers. Then, Floral Finesse. That's her dash. You dash in a direction while being immune, uproot any nearby shooty flowers, and place them around you. Empowered, do an explosion, dealing 220 damage when arriving. Very cool. Let's see if I can show you that quickly. So we'll do Q first, then we'll right click, then we'll attack a few times, and then we'll charge like this, and then it brings the flowers to us. It seems to stack so quickly. I love it. Her R, Bramble Wall. Create a wall of brambles that lasts 8 seconds. Enemy walking through it will take 100 magic damage every 1 second. And roots them for 1 second as well. Any nearby shooty flowers shoot the nearest targets on each damage tick. Empowered deals an additional 100 magic damage per tick, and cooldown is reduced. So that looks like this. There we go. Pretty powerful, I would say. It looks quite strong once again, and you can just like throw all your stuff in there, and it's just excellent. You know, it all just, wow. This character must be super scary when it just busts out all that stuff. Anyway, that's nice. One of my favorites, I would say, of the characters available right now. Speaking of the characters available, our final character is called Thora, the Undying Word Seeker. Difficulty 3. Origin, also stout heart, like our first character. Strengths, durable, single target damage, and weaknesses, mobility. Thora Stoneborn is a relentless warrior who has taken the Word Seeker's oath of atonement. She is sworn to hunt and fight the biggest and most dangerous foes until she achieves a glorious death. She's a living legend whose name is whispered across the centuries, although, inexplicably, she has not aged a day since she first took her oath. That's so cool, man. Oh my god. Wielding twin rune axes, one carved from the skull of a mythical ice worm, devouring the essence of every foe it fells, and the other a dwarven relic brimming with ancient power. Ooh. Despite her desires for glorious death, she finds herself seemingly unkillable, a burden that weighs heavily upon her. Jeez, what a life, huh? I actually really like this character. I love the design of this character, and I think she's just overall just like, she's badass, man. She's badass. Her passive is Zealous Onslaught. With each consecutive basic attack on the same target, it applies Fury Wound for 6 seconds. Each stack increases your basic attack damage, and the target damage to the target by 10% and refreshes all stacks up to 5 times. When hitting a target with 5 Fury Wound stacks, generate 35 energy. At 200 energy, consume all of it to get enraged, gaining 30% crit chance for 7 seconds. Additionally, instantly heal your wounds equal to 5% of your maximum health, which is just phenomenal. And that happens constantly as well. Gain 0.5 movement speed per 1% health missing, capped to 20%. Very cool, isn't it? Thora's abilities can critical strike. Right. So, yeah, she's like a berserker. Blood rage, basically. I love it. I think it's a really cool way of going about making a character like this. Her basic attack looks like this. There's no cone or anything like that. You have to be kind of close. Although I must say that's quite generous. If you look at it like that, it's quite generous. But that's the basic attack right there. And that's when we reach 200 energy right there. And like we've seen a lot of crits, which is nice. So you get to 200 energy really quickly, even when you're not using abilities. Rager Whirl. So to tap, you swing the axe in an arc, dealing 150 magic damage, generating energy, and it taunts minions and bosses. You can hold it to increase the arc, but take damage equal to 25% of the current health as 100% recoverable wound damage. This deals 300 magic damage, and enemies hit in the center get a 70% slow. So that's how you charge it. That's the center over there. Right? But you can also tap it. I'll show what the tap looks like in just a moment. And the wound damage, it heals itself up over time, right? So let me show you that again. That's the tap. Taunts them. Then we have Q. Swift Favor. Take damage equal to 25% of current health as 100% recoverable wound damage, but gain 20% movement speed for 5 seconds and 100% attack speed for 3 seconds. The next 2 basic attacks extend the duration of the attack speed buff by 1 second. So it's like a stack-in buff for your character. Wow! That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. She's so fast. Right, so her spacebar is Rage Spin. Spin around and deal 110 magical damage per second for 1 second while being immune. Hitting an enemy or a new target who has Fury Wound increases the duration by 1 second. Pretty cool. Yeah, you don't move very fast. As we read in the description, this character's downside is definitely its movement, its mobility. And then finally we have Earthquake. Slam the ground, dealing 125 magic damage and slow in for 75% for 0.3 seconds. To all enemies in an area. Heal wounds equal to 8% of max health if an enemy is hit. Earthquake can recast 2 times within 8 seconds of activation. I love this ability, by the way. It's one of the most satisfying abilities in the game, just because of how it looks and feels. If all 3 Earthquakes deal damage, generate 200 energy. So you can do it like this. It's kind of nuts. Just how cool it feels to do all of this stuff, basically. I think that this character must have the most explosive damage potential, and that's probably why it's rated as the most difficult as well, because it's not the easiest character to navigate. Let's just say that. I would say it's definitely not the easiest, but that ulti is really cool. And it's very fun that you can actually, and I'll wait here quickly for that timer to run down, but it's very fun that you can use those spaced out in 8 seconds. You don't have to cast them all immediately, which is really nice. Yeah, it's got really fun abilities. And it all just looks very satisfying also. Like, it's always satisfying attacking so fast and seeing all the bars go up so quickly and healing as you do damage. You know, it's nice to see that damage go up the whole time. Anyway, here we go. The ulti, as I was saying, let's do it one more time quickly. So you can cast it once, like this. Then you can actually take your time, cast it again, and again. Yeah, very cool. And that does bring us to the final character. That was the end. And that does bring us to the end of our character selection. Our current character selection. Now, before moving on, I will just show you guys what else we have here in the menu. We have challenges. These basically give you some unlocks that get given to you in your base right here. So as you unlock these, as you complete these challenges, it gets delivered right here to your base, to your stash, to your storage. And it's just a good way to earn goodies. And you also get these legacy stars here, and they can be used to purchase extra goodies like cosmetics and stuff like that. You'll see in just a moment there's a few things available right now. But the challenges, just a nice fun thing that you can do extra, and it's a nice way to earn extra goodies between matches as well. Then you have your storage. That's pretty self-explanatory. You bring your items from the gameplay in here, and you can sort of decide how you want to go out, how much you want to take, how much you want to keep. And this right here you unlock by doing quests in the game, the extra space. Then we have artifacts. There are lots of artifacts that you can unlock here, and then you can level their tiers up, and they will basically give you different bonuses based on how you want to approach your gameplay. The one that I have here is become able to pick up green spirits that heal you and nearby allies for 15% of max health. It's very useful. This one, especially for solo play, super good if you don't have a healer or if you don't have a way to heal easily. This one, well, you can see here, when awakened, +5 armor against minions. It's slightly less interesting, but you can get extra bonuses as you unlock it and as you upgrade it. It's very cool. It's a nice just extra system to customize things further. Speaking of customizing things further, each of the characters has their own perk tree, and you can equip up to 4 passive perks. Then you also get a lone wolf perk for playing alone. So you get a bunch of bonuses if you jump in and play by yourself. It's not enough to be fair against 2 players, but it's enough to give you a chance against 2 players. It's very useful, very helpful, and I think that it definitely gives you at least something back. You know, if you want to play solo, there's your reason for it right there. So, you basically level up, and then you unlock these slots, and then you get perks as you play. I can show you one that I have over here as a quick example. There we go. Each of them has different stuff that you can put in there, uniquely tailored, and so on and so forth, and that's cool. It's just another reason to level those characters up that you actually like. In the collection, here's where you see the cosmetic goodies in the game right now. You have emotes here that you can use. They look like this when you use them, as you can see over there. It's alright. It's pretty basic right now, but they're cute, and I like that. And then you can unlock more of them over here using the stars that you earn. There's a social menu over here where you can add friends and do goodies like that. You can see that there's a guild system that's going to come at some point. Then you can find parties to jump into here, sort of open parties with people in that want friends to play with. That's also quite cool. And then I will just say one of my favorite parts of the game is this map screen over here, just because of how vibrant and colorful and full of life it is. This is where you choose where you want to deploy, and I love the art that they have here. I love how it makes me want to jump into the game and play it. It's excellent. Incredibly well done. I dig it. So there are different areas you can deploy to, and you have to play the game a little bit more to unlock them, as you can see over here. It's very cool. Very, very, very cool. The town itself can be explored. There are quests to pick up here. There's a lot of sort of extra that you can see and do as well. And hey, I leave that to you guys to explore. One thing I will say is where the quests are concerned, I do think that they might want to reassess the way that they've done the text here. It's kind of hard to read, and the colors just don't look quite as good. Like, this design of the quest is nowhere near as satisfying as this design of the map. Just my personal opinion, very small thing. But that does bring us to the end of this video. And I'm going to say right here that I am absolutely in love with the character designs. I love the art that they have, the models and stuff like that. The backstories are thoroughly set up already right here in the early playtest of the game, and I dig that. These guys are passionate about what they're doing, especially the artists and the model designers. They've done a phenomenal job. The guys who made the abilities and set the characters up to make them feel unique and interesting, they've done a good job as well, because it's really satisfying to play. You know, I play with pretty high latency, and I will tell you straight off the bat, it feels good. It feels fine. Like, it's okay. It's really cool. They've done a good job with that. And yeah, overall, just the feeling of the game and of the world, it works. In terms of the characters themselves and the specifics, I like what's on offer right now. I'm very keen to see what new stuff they add. I do think there's a lot of room for new additions, for extras. They could easily add skins to the characters. They could add little extras that you could sort of attach to the character. You know, certain characters could have different weapons, different armor, stuff like that. The cosmetic side of things is something that I feel is best left till the end. You want the game itself and the bones to feel good before you move on to stuff like that, which is the right way of approaching it, and I appreciate that they've done that. But just again, looking at the art here, looking at the characters they have on show, these guys know what they're doing. I have faith that when the time comes, they'll be able to add something cool and fun and exciting extra. But that does bring me to the end of the end. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Let me know which characters are your favorite. I struggle to choose. I like them all. I really do. My favorite part, however, is just the vibe that you get when you jump in. This feel, this like sense of adventure. You just want to jump in and play the game because it feels good to play, it looks awesome, and this world is just so interesting and you want to know more about it. Yeah, man. And I've been doing this for a while. I've played a bunch of games like this recently. This is the one that sort of sucks me in the most. I really enjoy it. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know. You can, as always, check back here soon for more videos. Give this one a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can find my links below, my coffee page, and my Twitch channel, and all the rest. And hey, happy playing Vaultbreakers, dudes. Happy that.